Hello, my beautiful students. Welcome back to Learn English with Camille. Or if you're here for the first time, welcome. I am Camille. I am an online English teacher and I provide videos for all levels of English. Today is actually more of an advanced, I would say intermediate to advanced, because I'm reading from my B2 C1 book of English short stories that I wrote. You can find this book on Amazon or on my website. It's a great tool to improve your English, and we're going to get started today. These stories are a little longer. They're around 400 words, so it's taking up almost 2 pages, and I'm going to go ahead and read it straight through. This is called Beginning College. If you have this book and want to follow along, it's on page 60. I'm going to read through it, and then we're going to go ahead and do a few of the multiple choice questions. There are 10 that come with every story. So let's go ahead and get started. Beginning college. Katie was so excited, but at the same time, she was so nervous to go to college. She was going to be living in the campus dorms, and she only knew 2 girls from her high school that were also going there. They had different majors, so the likelihood of running into them was small. Katie had already had freshman orientation and saw that she was sharing a room with a girl named Sharon Stone. Katie had enrolled in 5 classes: algebra, English, science, sociology, and writing. Between her classes and volleyball, she knew she wouldn't have much free time. She had gotten a full ride because of volleyball. If it wasn't for her scholarship, she most likely would have had to take out loans for college. College was expensive these days, and her parents weren't made of money, but they had been so generous to buy her a new laptop and some new clothes. Katie was only 30 minutes away from her parents' house, so she could still go home on weekends to do her laundry when she ran out of clean clothes. She had to give up her job working as a barista because she knew her classes and volleyball would take up most of her time. Katie was only moving with 2 suitcases. She didn't want her dorm room to be cluttered. She had read a study that said less clutter equals more focus. She had just finished zipping up her backpack when she heard her dad calling her name. "Are you ready?" he hollered up the stairs. Katie took one last look at her room and sighed. It was the good kind of sigh, the end of an era kind of sigh. She was lugging her suitcases down the hall when she bumped into her dad. He offered to help her and grab both the suitcases. Her parents were going to drive her to school and drop her off. She wouldn't have a car, so she was going to take the bus home on the weekends. Katie didn't want the extra hassle and expense of owning a car. Katie's mom was already waiting for them in the car. She was teary-eyed because Katie was her first child to go off to college, and it just wouldn't be the same anymore. Her little baby was growing up. Katie's dad popped the bags in the trunk, and they took off down the road. If this is hard for you, don't worry, it is a more advanced text. I wrote these stories like I would write them to my friends or to my parents or somebody that's a native English speaker, using phrasal verbs, idioms, normal day-to-day speech. So if you are wanting to improve, this book is a great tool. So this is Beginning College, which you could also say beginning university. But college is a very American English term that we use a lot. So she's beginning college, she's beginning university, and Katie was so excited, but at the same time nervous. So those 2 emotions were going on. She'd be living in the campus dorms. So you know the place at university or at college on the campus where you can stay there. Usually you share a room with 1 or 2 other people. They're called your roommates. So she was living in the dorms, okay? And she only knew 2 girls from her high school going there. So high school is what we finish before we go to college. It's, I think, 4 years. So you have 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade in high school. And you can also call those your freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year, not only in high school, but also in college. So we use those same terms to say those 4 years that you go to high school and those 4 years that you go to college. So just a little extra bonus for you. They had different majors, which means focuses. So if somebody asks you, what's your major? It means, what are you studying? And you can say, my major is biology. Some people have minors, so it's the second thing they're studying. My minor is English. I'm majoring in biology, I'm minoring in English, for example. So the likelihood, the probability of running into them was small because they would be studying in different classes. Okay, so Katie had already had freshman orientation. Like I said, it's her first year, so she's a freshman. And orientation orientates you. It lets you know, where are your classes? Where's the cafeteria? Where's the library? So you get familiar with the campus and with your classes. So she saw who she was sharing a room with, Sharon Stone, and then we enroll in classes. So she enrolled in 5 classes, and she knew she wouldn't have much free time because she had classes and also volleyball. So volleyball is a sport, and she was playing on the volleyball team in college. So she had gotten a full ride because of volleyball. A full ride means a full scholarship, means the university will pay for everything. Okay? If it wasn't for her scholarship, that means if she didn't have this full ride, if she didn't have this scholarship, she would most likely have had to take out loans. So a lot of college students in America are in debt. They're paying off their college loans 10 years after graduating from college, because college can be very expensive. You can pay $20,000, $30,000 a year to go to college in the States. So it's not cheap. This expression, her parents weren't made of money, it's an expression to say her parents weren't rich, okay? But they had been generous, so that means they were like helping her still. They bought her a laptop, they bought her clothes, and then it says she was only 30 minutes away, and that means by car from her parents' house, so she could do her laundry. Doing laundry, it means washing your clothes, okay? She had to give up her job. So if we give something up, it means we stop doing it. So she was a barista. That means she made drinks at the coffee shop, but she stopped doing that so she could focus on volleyball and on her classes. Okay, so she was only moving. So we move. I'm moving my arm now, but we also move to new countries. I moved to Portugal a couple of years ago. We move to places. So if you say, I moved into a new house, or she's moving onto the college campus. So she's moving with 2 suitcases. She didn't want her dorm room to be cluttered. Cluttered means to have a lot of stuff in it. It makes you feel maybe overwhelmed. You just have so much stuff going on. So she did not want that, because she read a study. So she read an article that said less clutter equals more focus. It's actually true. So if you're watching this, if you're trying to learn English and your room is cluttered, maybe clean it up and see if you can focus better. Okay, so she had just finished zipping up her backpack. So backpack is what we put on our backs when we go to school. The zipper is the part that opens and closes the backpack. I'm going like this because that's the shape of a backpack. Our jackets have zippers, the thing that goes straight up and down, or our pants have zippers. So that's that word for you. When she heard her dad calling her name, so he hollered, that means he said with a loud voice, and he was hollering up the stairs. So he was downstairs, Katie was upstairs. Are you ready? Which is a very common phrase. Are you ready? Like, you ready to go? So she took one last look. She's looking around her room and she sighed. That's a sigh. It was a good sigh though, because it was like the end of an era. The end of an era means the end of a time period. So it was the end of her life at home with her parents for that season, and she was going off to college. So she was lugging her suitcases down the hall, which means when you're lugging something, it usually means the thing is big and you're kind of struggling trying to get it from one place to another. So she bumped into, which means basically her dad showed up. It doesn't mean they physically touched each other, like bumped into each other. You can. If I said my kids bumped heads, that means they hit their heads together. But if we say, I was out shopping and I bumped into my friend, it just means I saw my friend. We appeared in front of each other. So she bumped into her dad and then he helped her. So he grabbed the suitcases, took them. So her parents were going to drive her to school. She wouldn't have a car, so she was going to take the bus home on the weekends. She didn't want the extra hassle. Hassle's a good word to know. Hassle is like she didn't want extra trouble. She didn't want extra things to think about. And the expense, so the cost of owning a car. So Katie's mom was already waiting in the car and she was teary-eyed. So she had tears in her eyes because Katie was her first child to go off to college. So it's an emotional milestone for a parent. I can't imagine how I'll feel when my kids go off to college. It's a long time away, but time flies. Okay, so her little baby, we always say that for kids, even if they're grown. Her little baby was growing up. Okay, so Katie's dad popped the bags in the trunk, means he just put them in the trunk, which is the back of the car, and they took off down the road, so they left. So there's a lot of words we went over in this section. There's a big word list, literally over a page of words with their meanings, and then saying if they're nouns, idioms, phrases, verbs, adjectives. So that way you can just kind of get on your English game a little more if that's something you want to learn and do. And we're going to go over just a few of these multiple choice questions to test your comprehension. So number 1, where was Katie going to be living? A, the college dorms. B, off-campus housing. C, at home. D, her own apartment. So the answers to these are in the back of the book. So what do you say? A, the college dorms. That's good. Off-campus housing just means you're not on the campus, but you're probably close by. So you could be at home too. It just means you're not staying in the dorms. 2, who was Katie's roommate in the dorm going to be? Sharon Stone, Katie Stone, unknown, or 2 girls from high school? Do you remember? Again, A, Sharon Stone. Number 3, how many classes did Katie enroll in for her first semester? A3, B4, C5, D6. Do you remember, guys? 5. There are 10 multiple choice questions, kind of covering this more in depth. Let's do one more. Why did Katie receive a full ride scholarship? Why did she get that scholarship? A, excellent grades. B, athletic achievement in volleyball. C, outstanding performance in writing. D, financial need. Do you remember? Let me know the answer in the comments and I'll let you know if you were correct. If you want to continue with the multiple choice, continue studying with this B2 C1 short stories book, again, I encourage you to find it on Amazon. Comes with me reading it as well. And it's just a great tool to get to the next level in your English. There's 30 stories, so you can read one a day and take the next month to really focus on your English. Thank you guys so much for being here with me. If you made it to the end of the video, wow, you're a rock star. I know you really want to learn. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again next week. Thank you. Bye.